Hello YouTube! Welcome back to ABC Yu-Gi-Oh! As always, I'm your host, ABC, and today we're going into the basics of Yu-Gi-Oh! Itself. First, you have the phases of the game. It's a turn-by-turn game, so one player has their turn, and then the opponent has time to respond in kind, and each player has their own sets of stuff in order to work with. First off, each player starts their turn off with what's known as the draw phase. It's obviously the phase where you draw one card from the deck. Then you have the standby phase. This standby phase is not necessarily used all the time. It's used in some decks that have some odd timed things because that's when all their effects go off. Main phase 1 is when the turn player does all their combos. That's when they play their spells, monsters, traps, and whatnots. That's when they get everything out, and that's when they hopefully can make a board to beat their opponent. Battle phase, that's where the two players attack each other, one another, possibly defending others with attack position and defense position. We'll go over that more on our monster video. And now you have the main phase 2. If you didn't already do your combos and whatnots, this is when you can do them. It also has a few effects that might go off only in the main phase 2. Some cards can only be summoned then, other cards can only be activated after the battle phase, and then you'd activate them at the start of the main phase 2, that kind of thing. After that, the turn player ends, and that's called the end phase, and there are actually some cards that activate during that time, so it's important to know that there is a phase in between your turn and your opponent's turn called the end phase, and that's where some of those effects activate. Each player starts off with 8,000 life points, and the person who loses obviously has 0 life points. Now, life points are a tool to be used. The only life point that technically matters is the last one. So if you see a card that says have your life points or pay a certain amount of life points to activate it, don't worry about it, okay? It's going to probably pay off for you if you did it right. The 3 decks that you have interact with each other over the course of one match. A match is just 3 games. Now, during your first duel, you have your main deck that is unaltered, you have your extra deck that is unaltered, then you have your side deck. Now, in between your 3 games of your match, you can choose to alter your deck, main deck and extra deck, by the cards that are in your side deck. Now, those are 15 cards that you have. They could be either extra deck cards or main deck cards that you want to side in or out due to the specific matchup. The extra deck is kind of like your standby monsters. They're always there and ready. You just have to be able to fulfill the summoning requirements for them. And then your main deck is where you have everything else. And it can be anywhere from 40 to 60 cards. And that consists of monsters, spells, and traps. And there's a few different varying ratios there. And I'll get more about that when I get into talking specifically about the deck. Tune in next time to learn a bit more about the field under which Yu-Gi-Oh! Is played and the decks that are built within the game in order to try and beat your opponent. Thank you. Have a great day.